So J.D. Vance has spent the last few weeks playing cleanup after his childless cat lady's comments revealed how much he hates people who don't have children. But in every attempt at damage control, Vance and Trump have basically doubled down, claiming that what Vance really means is he's just pro-family.
I'm pro-family.
He is very family-oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing.
That is what I think brings the most meaning to life, is family.
He's not against anything, but he loves family.
So that's what they say. But as always, you really have to watch what they do, because here's what Senator Vance has done lately. Back in June, he voted against a bill that would have guaranteed access to IVF and made it easier to start a family. That doesn't sound very pro-family to me. So when the Senate voted on Thursday to extend the child tax credit for American families, J.D. Vance must have been all over it, right? Well, let's roll the tape of what he was up to that day.
Here we are. All right, my friends.
All right. Should we toast here?
Yes, we need to
See,
toast.
this is the good stuff here. It's high caffeine, low calorie.
And when you're out here, you need a little bit of everything.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
That's right. J.D. Vance skipped the vote on the child tax credit for a photo op, I guess with Diet Mountain Dew, at the southern border. Like I said, watch what they do, not what they say. Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin of Michigan. She is now candidate for U.S. Senate in one of the most closely watched races in the country. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. And I want to talk all about your race. It's great to see you. I wanted to start just with, J.D., I just played a little bit of J.D. Vance. He's really trying to position himself as a pro-family warrior, someone who would really fight for middle-class families in places like Michigan. And this is why you ran for Congress to begin with, right? You talk about this all the time. I just wanted to, and obviously what he's doing is quite the contrary. What do you think of his comments in the last couple of weeks as you watch how contradictory his statements versus his actions are?
Yeah, I think he's a great cheerleader and representative of what's going on, frankly, in many places across the country with these candidates. We have a pattern. It's a well-worn pattern where people vote a certain way or they sponsor certain bills. They have a pattern of behavior that, in this case, let's say it's against IVF. And then something breaks onto the scene like the Alabama ruling, and all of a sudden no one in Alabama can access IVF. The public is upset. People are concerned. It looks bad. And so they say, well, wait a minute, we're for this. Don't worry. In contrast to their record. And then when they have an opportunity to actually make good on those words, to actually vote, as you said, on this IVF bill that just says, hey, across the country, women have access to IVF, families have access to IVF, they refuse to do it. So this is why we can't be snookered by J.D. Vance or any of these other folks who are running who say one thing and do another. Actions speak louder than words. It's the same as kindergarten.
Don't be snookered. I feel like this is a Slotkin for Senate T-shirt somebody needs to make out there. So let me ask you, I want to come back to Michigan, but just given your national security background, I wanted to ask you about the prisoner swap we saw this week, which was such a significant moment. And I want to take a listen to what Donald Trump said at his rally in Atlanta last night.
By the way, I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? Now, look, we want to get people in. You know, we got 59 hostages. I never paid anything.
You could kind of hear a pin drop even at that rally. But just given your background and given all of the issues, how much you've worked on a lot of these issues, I just wanted to get your reaction to that.
Look, it just continues this kind of unbelievable record of at every possible moment bowing and sort of deflecting and supporting things that Putin has done. I will never understand it. I remember back in 2017, the first time it happened, he's standing up there in a press conference with Putin, and instead of believing our own intelligence community on what Russia had did during the general election here in 2016, he sort of said, kowtowed to Vladimir Putin on the national stage and said, you know, I believe you and not my own intelligence community about what you did and did not do. It is so completely outside the zone of normal for American president, Democrat or Republican. And then I got to say this one's very personal for Michiganders. You know, the rally last night when he's celebrating or, you know, congratulating Vladimir Putin, Paul Whelan is a Michigander, right? 6 years sitting in a work camp in Russia. He's a former Marine. We have billboards up here on our highways welcoming back home. Like, we do deals sometimes. No one likes to do them, but we do them. And I think it shows, that when it comes to, like, having a president of the United States, the idea of someone who just kowtows to Vladimir Putin after all he's done is it is disturbing. It is disturbing.
No, very. Let's talk about Michigan. It's going to be the central. You're running in a very important Senate race. It's a must-win Senate race. Obviously, it's an important race on the presidential level. Vice President Harris and her running mate, TBD who it is, will be visiting Detroit on Wednesday. Her first trip to Michigan since President Biden announced he would not seek re-election. How is this all the last couple of weeks? And her being at the top of the ticket, how is it impacting your race for Senate?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to overstate how it's changed the air in the room. And I knew it the day after the announcement. I was flying back to D.C. for votes, in Congress. And the plane was deplaning ahead of us, and a bunch of University of Michigan students got off coming back home from D.C. And they all saw me and said, Congresswoman, did you see the news? This is so exciting. All of our friends are now registering. Our friends want to volunteer. We're so excited. So it just was really, you knew from that moment that something had changed. And then I've been knocking doors in Detroit and in Flint, in the west side of the state, in Grand Rapids. It's just been a complete palpable difference in energy and excitement, which is going to affect every race up and down the ticket.
No question. Politics is supposed to be about good people, and excitement and energy and all of it. So, Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.